Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. Daddy is home taking care of the little one. Before I read 23, God is far off and evil triumphant, is the overhead in the book of Job. I'd like to share something. I have come across repeatedly now, and again, it's amazing to have my own experiences, yes? In order for people to be able to do good, right? You have to have people around you can do that with. Are you getting my drift here? And it seems that I have come across now with people that I would think they would know better. They're studying the same stuff that I do. They believe in true parents, heavenly parent, this and that. The change of lineage, the blessing, the divine principle. Okay. And I seem to be increasingly coming across posts where one is freely judged. And I hope that I don't come across like that. If I do, please let me know. I feel what I do is, as I have done all my life, I taken in so many people who needed a place to stay, a little guidance, a little motherly love, food, and we have, as a family, taken in so many animals that were abused. Most of them were, yes, rescues, and given them a wonderful, beautiful life. In the way that we decide to judge over others, to me, I have to say, yes, often then, what's going on in your own life that you need to do that to others? And again, we have to change our way of thinking, right? How do we teach? How do we give out there? With a loving and giving heart to hope that we inspire others to do what? Do good to other people who still need good to be done to them. Again, then what does that do? Elevate us? But again, we should thank the people out there who need us, right? The animals who need us. Then when we do step in and step up to take responsibility, wow, that's a great thing. But we do need the others for that too, don't we? Yes? Are you getting my drift? Okay, had to ask again. I have a very, very good example of a brother and a sister. My grandson, who's older, and my granddaughter, his sister, who's 3 years younger. And my granddaughter is amazing at soccer. She's so amazing. I'm not sure if I already told the story. I may have. The last soccer game, they've never lost a game. Her team has never. She's 5. They never lost a game so far of 8 games. And then the 9th game was the opposing team only had 3 players showing up. So the coach of the opposing team came over and said, "Are you willing to give us a couple of players so we can actually play?" Right? And my daughter said, my daughter went to my granddaughter and said, "Hey, would you like to? Yeah, would you be willing and volunteer to go play over at the other team? Because they don't have enough players." And my granddaughter's like, "Oh, I don't, sure, yeah." So there was a couple of children, and the coach, when he saw what was happening with my daughter and granddaughter, went over and said, "No, no, 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 we can give her to them, right?" And yet it did happen because there were my granddaughter was one, and then another little girl or a boy who volunteered to go over to the other side. My granddaughter ended up making all 6 goals. It ended up being 6-5 for the opposing team. My granddaughter now was on, winning, and her team, her original team, losing for the first time because my granddaughter made all 6 goals in the other team. So the undefeated team it only now has one player's been undefeated, which is my granddaughter. She's amazing out there on that field playing soccer, just amazing. She also started a few weeks back, okay, about 2 months back now, horseback riding, and my daughter did exactly the same thing that I did when we lived in California, in Berkeley. There was a stable up. My children were enthralled. My girls were enthralled with horses. I said, "Do you guys want to learn how to ride?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah." And I brought them to a stable. It wasn't cheap even at that time, but I made it possible. And they learned really they got a really good basic foundation on how to take care of a horse, how to saddle it, how to clean it, how to brush it, how to whatever, and then got really good guidance on how to start to ride a horse. And then there was another horse stable not too far off that you could, if you were a certain age, which both of my girls were, volunteer to help clean the stalls, this and that, and then get free horseback riding lessons in a group, kind of this or that. And so after some time, where I thought, oh, they got a good basic foundation, that we switched over because they wanted to do that as well. And it was great. And my daughter is doing exactly the same thing with my granddaughter, where she, yes, pays a little more, to have private lessons, a really good solid foundation. And my granddaughter, who has only been riding a horse now, regularly, for the last 2 months, is already jumping, doing jumping with her little horse. It's a okay, anything 14 hands and under is considered a pony. And she loves it, and she's learning how to saddle it, she's learning how to brush it, take care of it, this and that, and actually develop a relationship with the horse that she's expecting a service back. Yes, which is take good care of me while I'm on there. And everyone's just amazed on how well my granddaughter does with all of that. And guess what? Her brother, who's also very good at sports, this and that, who's a bit of a, I call him an imp. And I told my granddaughter, of course she comes and tells me all about this and that. I said, "Do you know why you do so well when it comes to many of these different things? And you're so courageous and all that because your brother prepared you for it. Your brother's roughhousing, and of course she wants to roughhouse with him, and she often ends up, 'You pig punched me. Oh, you hurt me. Okay, he's a big heavy boy.' She has a choice. She could stay away from him, right? And they love each other. Those two take good care of each other as well. He is very protective of her. But again, okay. I said, he, in a way, with all his impiness, impishness, and a little bit of a troublemaker, and okay, just doesn't think sometimes past his nose, right? Yes, where you have to constantly kind of watch and say, "Don't throw that ball at that window. Don't you know what's going to happen?" I'm just saying. And he goes, Something's gonna happen? Let me see what. Okay. Again, isn't that kind of the same thing? My granddaughter, my younger granddaughter, is doing so well in whatever she attempts because she had someone that trained her to be resilient, courageous, persevere. Right? Mm, also knowing that her brother wouldn't ever really hurt her on purpose badly or anything, which he never has, which is a surprise to everyone, really, when it comes down to it. So you see? Anyway, I wanted to start out with that. And, every time, anytime, and every time I see, yeah, the people of this or that, they're taking this or that in the wrong direction, or blah, 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 this, I want to go in and say, who are you to judge? Who are you to judge and make that decision for so many people out there? Another one I saw, oh, I finished reading the biography of so, and it says in there, and I took that to heart, that we need to repent for what we haven't done. This, well, okay. Hey, you know what, you people out there, if you feel like you haven't done something, you should have done this or that, okay, then go repent for it. But that does not speak for all of us. It absolutely doesn't. And it's offensive. To me, it is offensive when I see things like that. And I will not stay silent. Again, for others, where I said, you don't know. You're not in those people's lives. You don't know. Don't judge and persecute. Truly do step in when there is wrong done. Yes? But to just assume that there's a multitude of people out there who are all doing wrong, haven't repented, haven't done any conditions, don't know what it is about, because, they're just following blah, 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 whatever. Don't do that unless you for sure know that's what's going on in people's lives. You have evidence. Though it is rarely taken under consideration anymore, there actually is, per se, a law, innocent until proven guilty. All right, okay. So let's go to God is far off and evil triumphant. Yeah, so sometimes, right, someone that has the best of intentions or perceives themselves on the side of goodness is actually not, and is doing the opposite. Anywho. So, having said that, let's get to Job. 23. Job spoke next. He said, my lament is still rebellious. Yeah, there we go. Well, at least he admits it. Despite my groans, his hand is just as heavy. Will no one help me to know how to travel to his dwelling? Aha. Which brings me again to what I said just before. Then sometimes when I want to go and say, how far are you? How far along are you with actually what you're accusing others of not doing or doing wrong? Right? Yes? That's why I share so often from my own life. Because I want people to know, hey, look, I'm still working on things, but a lot of things I have experienced in a really amazing way. Even if it comes to restoration, I'm going, oh my God, I never thought I would think this way or experience something in this way if I start to change my way of thinking and truly follow God's heart. Yes? Yeah? All right. Well, what is that? For other people, for people that may be different, just read the 10 Commandments. It's not that hard to figure out what God's heart is like for everyone out there. Right? Yes? Okay. And the understanding may come little by little. Right? Yes? It's not going to be there for everyone. Woo! Instantaneously. Right? Yes. Gotta give people some time too. Right? Okay. I should set out my case to him, advancing any number of grievances. How one-sided. What I just talked about beforehand goes so well with stop. Now you're what? What is Job doing now? It's kind of judging God. Starting to judge God. Now let's see what else he says. Then I could learn his defense. Oh, wow, really? So what? He could take offense? Ah, every word of it, taking note of everything he said to me. Would he put all his strength into this debate with me? No, he would only have to give his attention to me to recognize his opponent as upright, and so I should win my case forever. All right, if I did not just make my point here with just what did I start talking about before on how why would Job consider himself being an opponent? Oh, and who is upright. Right? Yes. I just told someone that you're stubborn and self-righteous in the way that you talk about others. You're not teaching, you're not guiding. You just have you got judgment and persecution. Then you think that's guidance and teaching, but it's not because you do not know the people out there. You don't know who you are addressing. I find that offensive. But would I find God ever offensive? Or rather, would I need to know God's defense? Does God need a defense? And why does Job need to know what God's defense is? Well, you need to know someone's defense so you can do what? Better on your offense? I'm just saying, and it's a little weird here. If I go to the east, he's not there, or to the west, I still cannot see him. If I seek him in the north, he's not to be found. Invisible as ever if I turn to the south. Well, maybe you shouldn't just focus on the four directions. And yet he knows every step I take. Because God's everywhere. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait. Paying attention, waiting. Turn your face to me. I'll be right there. Job's looking in all the wrong directions, yet he does know that God's everywhere, sees what he's doing everywhere. That's a weird one. Huh? That's an interesting one. Let him test me in the crucible. I shall come out pure gold. Whoa, that sounds a bit narcissistic. My footsteps have followed close in his. I have walked in his way without swerving. I have not neglected the commandment of his lips. In my heart I have cherished the words of his mouth. Well, he's just asking, I need to know his defense, yet he professes to have done what? Then why is he saying what he's saying? But once he has made up his mind, who can change it? Whatever he plans, that he carries out. No doubt then, okay, if that's all right, I'm not, you know what, I'm not going to go too far into this. It's just Job. He's sick, he's unhappy, he's in the depths of despair. People say stuff then. So, okay. No doubt then, but he will carry out my sentence like so many other decrees that he has made. That is why I am full of fear before him. And the more I think, boy, if he's so full of fear of God, well, he sure still has a lot of courage to say what he's saying. I'd shut my mouth and go, you know what? I think I need to change my way of thinking. He's not afraid. And the more I think, the greater grows my dread of him. God has undermined my courage. Shaddai has filled me with fear. The darkness having failed to destroy me, I am plunged back into obscurity by him. This is a really sad one, really, when it comes down to it. It's odd what I read this morning, and every post, whatever was sent to me, this snad, and I saw what it was like. I'll say this one more time. You can, in a sense, only do good out there, be the good Samaritan if there are people in need. Yes? So, the one thing, and that's where you stay humble, when you can do that, when you're able, capable to do that, and you know right from wrong, stay humble. Because without those people, would you be able to exalt yourself in the secular world as you can when you profess to be a good person? Hmm? We need to change our thinking there too, right? Yes. Yeah. And be grateful. Then that supposedly, in order to, well, I don't know, have a place in heaven, we have so much possibilities to do good. Or is that not quite what it is all about? Hmm? All right. Anywho, what if everybody were already good? What if the whole world? Well, then we'll have the ideal family, mankind, on Earth, with whom as the center? Yes, of course. Yes, okay. Still, you don't think that a helping hand will still be necessary at that time? Of course. But how is it actually viewed? How do we feel about it today? That is an interesting question. To love our enemies as ourselves comes back to mind again. I have to say, walking this journey with God towards God's heart, trying to understand, just becomes more and more clear. If one just sticks with it. Yes, I'm still working on things. Of course, God Almighty, that would make me perfect, wouldn't it? But we strive to perfection. Why not? Okay, yes. Yeah. All right. That's all I have to share this morning. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all, God willing, tomorrow.